February 2010, the Deepwater Horizon, ultra-deepwater oil rig, began drilling for oil in the Gulf of Mexico at a depth of 5,000 feet. The plan was to drill 18,000 feet through the seabed and tap a massive oil reservoir, estimated to contain over 50 million barrels of crude. April 20, 2010. Something went very wrong. While entering the final phases of drilling the well, an explosion occurred, the cause of which is still unknown. Support ships made an attempt to put out the raging fire which had engulfed the rig, but it was futile. A day and a half later, Deepwater Horizon sank to the bottom of the sea. 11 people were declared missing, and 7 had to be airlifted and brought to a hospital. The result of the catastrophic destruction of Deepwater Horizon has been the creation of what would become the greatest environmental disaster in the history of man. The oil that BP had sought to claim from the depths is now spewing uncontrollably into the Gulf of Mexico at an estimated rate of over 70,000 barrels of oil per day. On April 22, BP deployed several ROVs, remotely operated vehicles, to the seabed to attempt to activate the blowout preventer. All attempts at doing so failed. BP claims that the operational diagrams they received from the equipment owner were flawed and did not match the configuration of the device. It has come to light that BP opted to forego installing a remote control shutoff switch, called an acoustic switch, which serves as a last resort protection in the event of a catastrophic underwater spill. Within days, the oil slick on the surface of the Gulf had become so large that it was visible from space. Experts have reported that the oil which is visible from the surface only represents a small fraction of what is lurking beneath the waves. Vast plumes of oil have been discovered beneath the surface of the water. The oxygen levels of the Gulf's water are dropping at an alarming rate. The size of the ocean dead zone which is being created is incalculable. Experts are also concerned that oil could be carried by the Gulf Stream through the Florida Keys and up the eastern coast. This would threaten the existence of 2 of the largest coral reefs in the world.
The blowout preventer had 3 levels of redundancy. They've all failed. We don't understand why that is the case.
On May 14, Tony Hayward, CEO of BP, stated that the amount of oil spilled is tiny in relation to the size of the ocean. Over 1.95 million liters of chemical dispersants have been dumped into the ocean, mostly a product called Corksit 9500, in an attempt to break up the spillway. No toxicity studies have been conducted on Corksit 9500. Nalco Energy Services, the manufacturer of the dispersant, has refused to disclose the contents, claiming that they wish to protect their trade secrets. The U.S. federal government, for the first time, authorized the use of dispersants underwater. BP has been injecting corks at 9,500 into the stream of oil pouring from this shuttered pipe at the bottom of the sea. On May 7, BP lowered a 100-ton concrete and steel box to the seafloor and positioned it on top of the leaking pipe. The intent was to use the box as a giant funnel to pump oil into a tanker on the surface. The attempt was a complete failure, as ice crystals formed inside the box, clogging the exit pipe.
So we tried the large dome over the weekend. It wasn't successful. Too much hydrate formation, a consequence of there being much greater gas in the flow of hydrocarbons than we had anticipated.
The extent of the environmental damage that will be caused by the Deepwater Horizon oil spill is unfathomably catastrophic. The destruction of the untold biodiversity of our oceans is a tragedy of biblical proportions. BP is currently in the process of drilling a relief well, which they hope will stop the flow of oil into the Gulf from the Deepwater Horizon spill site. The well will take at least 3 months to be drilled. The livelihoods of thousands of Gulf Coast fishermen have been destroyed. BP began offering fishermen up to $5,000 if they would sign an agreement stating that they would not sue BP. Alabama's Attorney General told BP to stop circulating the agreements. BP began hiring out-of-work fishermen to deploy hundreds of thousands of feet of boom in a futile effort to contain the surface lick. BP's response to the oil spill has been called pathetic. Many Gulf Coast residents are leaving their homes due to the stench and fumes blowing ashore.